Hello, welcome back. I'm ReFabFashion. I'm a part-time reseller, mostly men's and women's clothing and shoes on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. I dabbled in some home goods and housewares, but that's more rare for me. Today I have a different sort of video than what I've seen around YouTube lately. This is going to be a review of some ThreadUp arbitrage that I've done. I first kind of got clued into this option by McThriftsy. And I remember her talking about the ThreadUp outlet. So not the bulk mystery boxes, but going to the outlet section, which only certain account holders are able to do. I think you have to purchase so much. I don't know if that's still the case, but it's deeply discounted. The more you buy, the more discount you get. And she had some kind of methods that she shared of searching around. So my initial purchases were trying to follow that. I have a different routine now. I actually end up paying up for things, although I'll save items as they're newly and then just periodically check my favorites in ThreadUp in my little saved likes section, and they're always running sales. So then if they have like a 40% or 50% off discount and it's still in my save, no one's bought it yet, then sometimes the price is right. I've already done my research with Google Images to know that yes, for the right price I'd like to buy that. So that's my strategy more recently. What I'm going to review today are sales in 2024. So it's the end of July right now. So these are all of what's sold from my ThreadUp arbitrage purchases in this year. Now, some I purchased a few years back when I was doing more of the outlet searching. Not really the best buys, but I'll point out, and I'm going to share with you too, the ThreadUp listing and how I was able to know that it was a good buy. So I hope that this is all helpful to you. This first sale to review was a sale on eBay, and it's older now, so I don't have the full listing. But this was a Burton AK, which is a particular line of Burton. Helium insulator jacket, so great for kind of ski snowboard brand, but it was kind of lightweight. I paid $14.99 for this. It sold for $50 and the buyer paid shipping on eBay. This is in Vendoo, which is what I use for all of my drafts, and then I push it out to all three platforms for everything. You can see a few more of my pictures here. So it was a nice jacket. I don't think there were any flaws noted. I usually point it out, but I show the pocket, the cuff, just so people have a sense of that. Okay, so there was one flaw, a little spot stain on the fabric section. Prima Loft fill. I didn't know much of this Burton AK brand before, but basically when I was looking, this is the ThreadUp listing that I saw. I saw that it was a jacket. It was just under assorted brands and listed as polyester. But I could tell that there was something on the cuff here, and it's readable when I zoom in, so that helped me. And then I think I did a Google image and found the coat and the exact name, and knew that it would sell for a good amount. So like I said, I was able to buy this on a sale for $14.99, sold for $50. The buyer paid shipping. My net profit was $28.82. This took 262 days to sell. So I had listed it in April in the springtime, and it sold in January of 2024, which makes sense. This next one here, I really like on ThreadUp finding the Torrid Outlander pieces, and even when I'm out shopping, I don't pick up much Torrid, regular Torrid. The prices in my thrift stores being around Boston can be high for Torrid, but I just have so much better luck with the sale price. I mean, for example, here, $63 for an Outlander piece. So I really like this line in particular. Outlander is a TV show, Scotland, forget what century it takes place in, but you can usually find some good pieces on ThreadUp. So this was a size 3 or 3X, and in my research I found, as you can see, some good stock photos here. And it did seem to be rare. I did find another sold listing, but I don't think any were active at the time that I purchased this. So I bought this in November of 2023, got it up that month. I paid $13.99 for this item, and it sold on Poshmark for $63. So my profit was $34.39 and took just 50 days to sell. So this was the original listing. So they don't, it's usually listed as Outlander, and you do need to be careful because there's a vintage brand called Outlander that makes sweaters and jackets and things. So you need to use kind of your knowledge of Outlander the show or just the style. There's a lot of plaid, the tartan plaid, these sweaters and things that look a little more modern and also have a particular style to them. So don't fall into a trap of buying Outlander vintage. I don't know how that does, but the Torrid Outlander THREDUP often just lists for Outlander. They had the condition as excellent. That's something to note too. I filter for just the excellent items because I do receive, I'd say out of every order, let's say I ordered 5 items, at least one is not in excellent condition and has flaws, either stains, holes, sometimes it's really significant. And then I'm able to contact THREDUP support and get my money back because it's a discrepancy with what they describe. So I only do the excellent as kind of my security in that regard for when I get the damaged items. Here again, another Torrid Outlander piece. This was a plaid, kind of open waterfall sweater. Again, just looking right at the THREDUP listing, you can do a screenshot and look it up in Google Lens and usually find it right away. So this was a good sale, not as rare of a piece. I paid $12.65 for this. I listed it in January and it sold in February, so just took 28 days to sell. Sold for $35. I did give a shipping discount, so my profit was $13.33. So that means, $12.65 into it. Profit was $13.33. So I doubled my money in just a month. And this was the original listing here. So it does have this, the Outlander. So I guess this one here, the title, they did put Torrid in there. So it varies. But again, I searched just for excellent because then if it had any holes or excessive pilling that I didn't see, I'd have that insurance again to have it returned. I found a couple of these pieces in THREDUP. So this is Alpenrock, which I heard about on YouTube. I'm forgetting whose video I saw it first. But it usually has this embroidery, but has this kind of alpine, like there's this Edelweiss flowers here. But this was a women's polo shirt. They do number sizing, so I did have to find the conversion, but this sells for a great deal. I mean, here's a small size polo that I was able to sell for $45. I found this in November of 2023. I paid $9.06 on THREDUP. Sold it for $45, so my profit was $26.40. And this took 82 days to sell. And again, they just had this under assorted brands, modal cotton, but really just the look of it as I was scrolling through, you could tell right away. I mean, it even has the brand right there on the collar. So a quick Google Lens, you would easily be able to find what that is. This was one from an earlier time. I had been hearing about this brand, Oh My Gauze, which is this nice kind of gauzy cotton material. And I think this brand does okay. This was a mistake for me because I had to pay up being on THREDUP. It was a small size. Really, you want to get this at the bins or low cost of goods under $5. This also was gray. I mean, this was more of a brand excitement for me than really a smart buy. So I paid $10.99 for this. It sold on Mercari. Back when they did have fees on the platform. It sold in February of 2024. So I just offloaded this item in the end. I sold it off for $9. The buyer paid shipping, so I lost $3.85 on this. But like I said, I kind of found out that this was not a good strategy to buy this brand on THREDUP. Here's the original listing. They did have it listed as the brand, and I see this more from time to time. I just stay away on ThreadUp. If I found this in the thrift store, I would consider getting this brand again, and I think in larger sizes would be better. Another Torrid Outlander piece, and this is, again, the stock photos are great for Torrid. This was, I wasn't sure at first if it was missing a slip, but this is meant to be sheer. This kind of floral tunic piece. There's no slip or tank that comes with it. I guess, you know, it's not plaid. It's not a kind of Scottish winter thing, but this is the Outlander line. Where's that photo there? So I bought this for $9.99. This sold the same day I listed it. It was a size 3X. This sold on Mercari. I got an offer for $27 and accepted that. Buyer paid shipping. Again, there were platform fees at this time. My profit was $12.82. So again, I a little more than doubled my money on the same day. And this was the original. Okay, again, they put Torrid and the Outlander together. So yeah, I suppose if you see just Outlander and nothing about the series or Torrid, or I'm not sure if Hot Topic does Torrid items. I think they do. So I guess look out for that rather than just plain Outlander, which might be that vintage brand instead of the Torrid brand. This was again a great find, Anatomy, which I think they're geared, it's like high-end, expensive retail, and I think they're meant to be more travel friendly, so non-wrinkleable materials. I've sold some pants before. This was the first sweater I got, and I did pay a little more. This was $19.99. It was new with tags when I purchased it. I listed it in November, and it sold in February of 2024 on Poshmark for $105. I did offer a shipping discount, so my profit was $71.99. So I think $20 into $72 is great. I mean, this was a heavy piece. The size 1, again, they do 1, 2, 3 sizing. This is a small, but it was a longer sweater. I was able to find a couple on the resale. I forget now if they were active or sold at the time. And of course, the screenshot I was able to find before I decided to buy it. This is what the listing was like. They did list it under this brand, Anatomy. So they had the brand name listed. So I was able to make sure that when I Google Lens searched this, that I could find that it was that brand rather than another brand, leopard sweater. And they did mark that it was new with tags, even though you can't see it in the photo. And that's because it was attached to the inside tag, materials tag. But again, you know, if they list it as new with tags, you receive it and there's any damage, or it's not new with tags, then you have a grounds to complain, and I find them to be pretty fair when there's a discrepancy. They just ask for photos, and you know, you're probably set up to do your photographs anyway if you're planning to resell this, so it's not that hard to get your refund. This was this was a Mage Sweater that I found on ThreadUp. This is the stock photo here, and it's sold on eBay. This was a size 1 or small, and this is the actual sweater here in my photos. So this looked like a newer piece. It was new with tags, but I mean newer as in more modern, kind of a drop sleeve, and there's the tag. Once before, I purchased a ThreadUp sweater that was supposedly Mage, and I believe it was a fake, and I sent it back to them with that complaint. I was refunded, but once I had received it, it was like this J has like a little curve here. I don't know if you can see that, but the other sweater I had, like it was just straight like an I, and then this tag here just didn't look right either on the other sweater. But they had that other one listed under assorted brands, so maybe they knew that. And I had Google Lensed it and said, oh my gosh, this is a Mage sweater, that they just might not have known, bought it, but there was definitely some suspicious things in the branding. But this one was definitely legitimate, met all the checks for this. This is what the ThreadUp listing looked like. So they had it listed as a Joie brand, not Mage. So even there, mohair, some wool, and it just looked interesting. I think I was purchasing this when Barbiecore was still really hot, and new with tags. So I was looking into it, and I did the Google lens to see if I could find it, and then it wasn't joie, it was Mage. So maybe even here, yeah, even here on the tag in the photo, you could see that it was Mage. So that's what piqued my interest in this piece. I paid $57.99. Again, I did my method where I think I had saved it to my likes and just was waiting for the right sale price. So I paid $57.99, and it sold on eBay for $150. The buyer paid shipping. After fees, my profit was $71. So 58 into 71, more than doubled my money. This took 28 days to sell, so just 1 month. This, again, was from when I was doing the outlet buys. This is a vintage linen dress, and I just really liked the look of this. This sold on eBay. In the end, I had to just really discount this and offload it. I think I did an auction. I had a lot of likes. I think it's just tough with the sizing. Like on Poshmark, I had so much interest, but it's hard to return on Poshmark for fit. But just really interesting buttons, 100% linen. It was in excellent condition. A really nice piece. Here's the brand tag, made in USA. I think it had junior sizing, size 9, but a nice midi dress. Anyway, I ended up, I paid $547. This was through the outlet pricing, so really low price. This took forever, 694 days, so like almost 2 years. $9.99 was the sale price. The buyer paid shipping. I made $3.56. This was the initial listing here. So the trick with the outlet is, like I mentioned, the more you buy, the more discount you get. So if you buy a certain number, I think they give you 20% off, then 30%, 40%. So then as I said, I haven't been doing the outlet shopping as much as a way to source inventory, because you're paying low, but you might be tempted to add things that aren't really things that you want to list and going to be good sellers. Similarly, Alo Yoga, still a good brand, but really you need to have the modern pieces. I found these leggings. I think they're cool with the paintbrush strokes here. So black with the kind of white paint look to it. A size small. This is what the listing was here. I paid $11.99 for these. It took a year to sell, and I offloaded it for $9.99. The buyer paid shipping, so I lost $4 on this. I had brought this to a local consignment store to try to sell as well, but I think just as time went on, I'm also noticing here they had size 3, but this was a size small when I got it and did my photos. So I think you just really have to stick to the newer the newer items in this brand. This, I don't have my listing information. I recycled my listing from this one because I sold this at consignment. These, I was perusing the shoes, looked so interesting with this kind of geometric heel. And, they looked like they might have some creasing here. But as you can see, I was able to see the brand, made in Italy. So I looked these up, and I was able to find that they actually were shipped to me in a box, and they had the plastic film still on the bottom. So I think they were only tried on and maybe just bent a little bit in storage. These were called the Deco Slides by Mavet. All leather, again with an interesting heel. So I thought these would do better. I found some being listed for resale. The price point was pretty high. I paid $32.99. I had these for a year trying to sell them. I brought them to a local consignment store, and they sold them at a higher price, again with the box. And my cut, the 40% that I earned, was $76 from their sale. So my profit on this was $43 after a year. So, I do that from some time to time with certain pieces. If things have high value, and the consignment store would know that value, and I guess that's a perk of being in Boston, where there's, to bring it to a consignment store on Newbury Street in Boston, there's a lot of tourists, people shopping, willing to spend money. So some better pieces, if I'm just having a hard time selling them, I will use consignment and I can make some good profits. It's not a different than the buy sell trade stores where I'm really offloading. I'm getting $3, $7, $9. With the consignment store. I've also done that recently with a pair of Gucci pants that I thrifted. I just wasn't 100% sure that they were authentic, so I let consignment deal with that, and they took the risk. And they sold them for me right away. I made $40 on a $9 thrift purchase, and I didn't have to deal with issues with buyers, with authenticity, or kind of knowing enough about that. So consignment can be a good strategy. Anyway, back to THREDUP. This was a great piece, a Lily Pulitzer, new with tags, cashmere wrap in this melon peach color. This sold on eBay. This was a pretty quick sale, 69 days, so just a couple of months. I did pay $31.99 for this, but it was excellent. It had these button details here. But yeah, new with tags. These were being listed for, what was I noting here? There's just a pull to the thread. I don't know what I'm, See, sometimes I do this and there's like a very faint mark, but I always just list it or say it. Where's my description here? Condition. One imperfection is stitching, one dust mark. So that must be what I'm pointing to there, the dust mark. And one imperfection. I didn't even call it a flaw because I think they just stitched it like that. I don't think it got snagged on anything. Anyway, so I paid $32, and in a couple months I sold this for $118.99. The buyer paid shipping, and my profit was $84.18. So that's a more than doubled, kind of tripled my money there with this in just a couple of months. This was the original listing. You can see the tag right there. I have a hard time I can't zoom in. It gets blurry to actually read sometimes what's on the tag or some writing. So I, thankfully Lily Pulitzer, I knew it was cashmere, and I knew it had buttons. So I couldn't Google lens this because they actually style it with the buttons kind of off the shoulder. But I just searched, cashmere wrap, buttons, and was able to find it. Okay, a few more here. This is a Nation Ltd, but I believe my trouble with this, see it's new with tags, sold for $25. Had a hard time selling this. This I think was a way older piece, and my introduction to them was selling very new pieces that they still had photos on the website. So I think that's the route to go with this brand. This was semi-sheer. I don't know if it was supposed to come with a slip, so that was, a knock against it. And size medium, but this was a midi maxi dress, very long dress. I paid $12 and sold it for $25, so I only made $8 profit. It took 182 days to sell, and I gave a good discount on this to move it. Here was the initial listing. So they had the brand there, and I could see that it was new with tags. I liked how long it was. I thought that would help it. This is a more recent purchase and sale, quick sale. This is a Captain Marvel moto jacket, her universe, the character Danvers. You can see I used cosplay in the title, found great stock photos. This I recently purchased for $17.50. This sold in just 5 days on Poshmark for $60, no shipping discount. My profit was $30.50. And the THREDUP listing, they had Marvel there, size 3, which was a 3X, excuse me. I knew it was faux leather, polyurethane. This was easy to Google lens search with all the details here and just find what it was. And they had really undervalued this on THREDUP. And the final one to review, also a very recent purchase, a West Marine. This, THREDUP doesn't sell men's items, so they must have thought this was women's, although I'll show you the tag. It's clearly men's. New with tags, called the Third Reef jacket. This, I think, is for people working on ships who need that windproof, waterproof. The hood rolls out and it's bright yellow. Um, Zip pockets to secure everything, and insulated very well. Yeah, this kind of bright yellow hood. There were a couple marks. See, it's even hard to see there, but there were a couple of kind of black marks there and there, right here. But otherwise, in new condition. So right here on the sticker, it says large men's third reef jacket, original price $249. So this was the THREDUP listing. Again, it was easy to zoom in and see West Marine, third reef jacket, see that it was new with tags. The Google Lens also helped me. I priced mine for, I think, $175 on eBay. I got an offer from someone for $65. I went back and forth a little, but took a $75 offer. In just 6 days, this sold. So I paid $27.99 and sold for $75. They paid shipping, and my profit was $35.70. So I doubled my money in the middle of summer for a waterproof, windproof coat. So I hope this was interesting to you, maybe gives you some ideas of what to look for. It definitely takes some time. Like I said, my strategy is to look at the new items in, do a little research, save it, wait for it to start being discounted, and then do a bundle, get the free shipping. But on a lot of these, and my strategy nowadays, paying, let's see, 12 to 30, that Mage Sweater I paid $57.99, but paying 20, 30 bucks in order to at least double that in profits has been a welcome strategy for me, especially since at the thrift stores my prices are so high around here in Boston anyway. So some of these have been really fast sales depending on what I can find, and it's kind of fun to hunt around. It has a similar feel to me as the thrift store, kind of hunting, checking, can I find a little mark and a little branding or a little label or something that that I can figure out exactly what the item is and see if THREDUP undervalued their item, or in this case, finding men's things on here that might earn some good money. So thank you for joining me. I'll look forward to putting out another one of these, maybe every 3 months or so, because I have been purchasing some more items that haven't sold yet, but I'm very hopeful about how they're going to do as I get them up. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.